Bonjour mes amis. My name is Brad Nation. I am the guy that started the Cajun French virtual talk française. When I did it, I had no idea what I was getting into. Now, there's a lot of us, like myself, that are beginners, that I knew enough to get myself in trouble as a kid. I'm sure many of you guys can relate to that. I knew how to say the things I wasn't supposed to say. I knew how to get myself in trouble with people. Now, many people come in there, they're asking questions, hey, where can I get some resources on this? Where can I get what dictionaries? There's something I can use. One of the first dictionaries that was done well, I think, is the Dictionary of the Cajun Language by Reverend Daigle. And he's put out this book here, and you'll see us, we use the acronyms, or initials, and we'll call it the DCL. You'll see that referenced a lot. And Cajun self-taught. You'll see a lot of references to this because he has a lot of expressions and phrases and stuff in here. And a lot of us spend time there looking at it because it really is an example of how things were said. The problem is, it's a nightmare to try and find something in there. In that sense, it's a hard book to use if you're just trying to learn. But a lot of good material in there. And there's some audio cassettes that had been made for this that have later been converted into CD. These things are available. You can buy them. I think Barnes and Nobles. You can get it at Amazon, where I got mine. The next book, this here is kind of considered by many to be our authoritative source on Louisiana French, and we call this the DLF, right? Dictionary of Louisiana French. And if your eyes are old like mine, it's a little hard to look at the text in here without a magnifying glass. I mean, I'm just being honest with y'all. That's how it is for me. But fantastic resource. Tons of information. The editors, the assistant editors, and all these folks that have put their time and energy into this, making this book, merci bien. Right? Another nice book to have, and this is the Dictionary and Phrasebook of Cajun French. It was done by Clint Bruce and Jennifer Gibson. I like this little book. It's not as, obviously it's small, it's not as in depth as these things here, but it's got a lot of good information in there. And I love to kind of compare the books together. This is something portable you can carry with you, making a road trip, going to stay somewhere. It doesn't take a lot of room, it's not heavy, it's a good pocket reference. Found this one here on Amazon, Cajun Vocabulation. It's a fun little book. You're not going to learn to read and write Cajun French. But you will learn some of the phonetics on how to pronounce certain things and expressions, words. I use it sometimes as a tool with some of the things in here when I have trouble recognizing the way something is supposed to be said. I mean, I'm getting better at it, but still, sometimes I look at something and I'm just not sure. And I'll take a chance. I'll flip through the pages, I'll find something in there. Sometimes I'll find it, sometimes I won't. But they do a really good job of helping you sound out the way something is supposed to be said. Another good reference out there is the Cajun Home Companion. This here is a nice little tool for conversational French. Matter of fact, I believe some of our friends are using this. They were having free Cajun French classes at their house, and this was the guide that they were going by. There's this nice little book here, Conversational Cajun French, Volume 1. I don't think they ever did a Volume 2. There's CDs. There are CDs to go with this. And I believe I got the book, got the book from Amazon, but I got the CDs at, I think it's Barnes & Noble right there in Lafayette. And finally, Tonnere mes chiens by Amanda LaFleur. Great book. Love this thing. It's got a lot of little phrases, expressions, or things that don't translate directly. It's just pretty neat stuff, and it's fun. It's a fun read, and nice insight into, it's more than just learning the words, and more than learning how to say a few sentences. I mean, if you're going to understand the language, you have to understand some of the meanings behind it. But all of that aside, I'm going to go back to the Dictionary of Louisiana French real quick. I worked with Miss Phoebe. Most of y'all, if y'all on the page, y'all know who she is, Miss Phoebe Trotter. Merci bien. She has taken the time to read the pronunciation guide for us. Because it was done on most of the words over here, they're using the International Phonetic Alphabet to indicate the pronunciation of these words. I'm going to speculate that probably 95% of the folks out there, or like myself, you'll look at those letters and I have no clue. And so, you know, I'm a technical guy. That's what I do for a living. And, you know, I'm able to go out there, I can find this information on the internet, I'm able to find examples of it, but it's difficult, it's a tedious process. So you be reading this and I put it to video and with the examples on it. I'll probably end up in the near future breaking that down so that you can click on an individual item and get that specific pronunciation. I encourage you to find it. I'll show you where to find these links, where to find this information in a short while. Another part of the video, the welcome video. But these are the materials that we use as reference. On the page, you're going to see that there's going to be some recurring questions. As people come in, they have a lot of the same questions, and they don't realize the question's been asked before. It's okay. Ask it again. All right? Ask it again. There's going to be some things I'm going to ask you to do when one is watching this video. Two, go to the About section of the page. Please, please go to the About section of the page. There's some links in there, and there's some references in there about some topics that are kind of hot button topics. I'm going to ask that you please follow that link, read up on it before you consider asking a couple of key questions on the wall. All right? And there are things that people, the culture down here in South Louisiana is a very passionate culture. And people will feel one way or the other about something, and look, they're willing to fight to the end for it. But it's not conducive to what we're trying to do. All right? So there are certain things, we've kind of addressed it as best we can. Put it off to the side. If you're curious about it, go read it. Just go read it. All right? So, if you don't know how to spell something, you're not sure how it is, put it on there. All right? Put it on there, sound it out as best you can. There are people, we have some folks on there that are really, really good at this. They love the challenge. Heck, I love the challenge. All right? Except I lack some of the experience that some of these folks have. But they'll get out there and they'll look at it, they'll find it for you. It is okay if you don't know how to spell it. If you do not know how to spell something, or if you spell it and you thought you had it correct, which happens to be a lot, right? You put it out there. Somebody, more often than not, will offer up the correct spelling for it. Please do not take offense by it. The idea is that we're all trying to learn to read and write the language. So, if somebody offers it up, sometimes they're in a hurry. They don't have necessarily the time to say, oh, look, Shad, look, you kind of had that wrong a little bit. I'm going to fix that for you. This is kind of how it should be. With the kid gloves on like this, sometimes they're just going to put the correct spelling because they're in a hurry. They're going to get it out there, boom, got to go. Please, don't take offense to it. It's people who just, multitasking, they're trying to help. Okay, something else to keep in mind is that we're all here to learn and to help teach each other. It is a group effort. It's a community effort. It's all volunteer effort. Nobody making any money from this. We are all just putting forth our skills, our knowledge, and our willingness to learn. Whatever it is, we're throwing it all in the pot, and we're going for it. Some of the things that we've encountered along the way that have created some conflict here and there were dealing with regional differences, pronunciation differences, choice of words on how to say something. These differences are more pronounced in different ranges of 20 miles, but we've found that sometimes in the same community, the same street, the same block, next door neighbor will say something a little bit different. Now, sometimes somebody comes to the table and they just don't remember the word right, or they were saying it wrong because they heard it, maybe they weren't around it enough. I'm an example. It's happened to me that they are just pronouncing it wrong. They've been saying it that way their whole life. There have been things that I've been saying wrong my whole life that people knew I was saying it wrong, but they understood what I was trying to say and they never corrected me. Well, I appreciate the correction, and I wish somebody has, because there's still some things that I say that it's a hard habit to break. So there are things, and sometimes you will say it wrong, but most of the time people, they're saying it right. They learned it right. It's how it was said in their area, and that's okay. That's part of our language. It's part of the diversity of the language. and the regional things that occur. Now, with that in mind, as I've mentioned earlier, all of this stuff is all part of the dictionary, right? It's all in there. Now, it's just which words are we choosing to use. That's it. Done lost it. ADD. Bunch of us.